It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
When we think about overall financial management, investing is obviously a big piece of it. It's a piece that most people focus on, and some people focus too much on. But we think that when you do get to a critical mass, it really makes a lot of sense for all of the different pieces of your financial life to work together. So the decisions you're making in your portfolio should coordinate with what's going on your tax return. And those two things should inform how your estate plan is set up and how you're thinking about retirement. Well, one of the problems with target retirement funds or index target retirement funds is they don't offer financial planning.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to making investment decisions, a big thing you got to think about is, okay, what does retirement look like? We've already said that if you're someone who's planning on exiting the workforce early, maybe before 59 and a half, or certainly before 55, you better think about which of those three buckets you're building and how you're building that. Well, if you need to be placing a lot of focus in an after-tax bucket because it needs to be dollars you're going to draw off of, you're going to have a slightly different investment strategy inside of that bucket that coordinates with your total portfolio. The one set it and forget it target retirement fund might not be the best solution once you've gotten there. We've already talked about tax planning. They don't help a ton with tax planning, especially if you want to do things like Roth conversions or think about RMD type strategies. Target retirement funds don't do that as well.
I also think about this tax location, Bo. We didn't even get it. We could have had Daniel put up the slide that we do that shows that, look, your Roth accounts, we love Roth because they grow completely tax-free. So you want to stick it to our favorite taxing uncle, with the biggest growth assets in those. And your tax deferred, that's your employer match and other things you want to put. They're taxed at ordinary income. So you want to put your bonds and other things and that type of stuff that's always taxed at ordinary income. We know after tax, that third bucket on tax allocation, that's going to be your liquidity. That's going to be the bridge account. That's going to be your dividends. That's going to be your capital gain type distribution things. That stuff doesn't happen within target retirement funds, but it does when you're working with a financial advisor. All these things come into play to the full financial planning process.
Again, and that's where then you even get to start thinking about other things like education planning, insurance analysis, and then all the other aspects of investing. One of the questions that we're getting a lot right now from our clients is, man, guys, it seems there's some weird stuff going on in the world. What should we be doing? What should we be changing? How should we be reacting? This is our answer, and this is the email that we keep sending to our clients. We say, look, we have a really solid allocation for your unique circumstance, risk tolerance, risk capacity, account structure, and goals that even before 2022 started being volatile, it was a solid allocation. And in 2022, while we're seeing volatility, it is still a solid allocation. Now, you may see some trades coming through because we are doing a lot of loss harvesting right now, so we can capitalize on that, but we're not changing the allocation. We're not changing the strategy. And then however this year ends up, whether it ends up 20% or down 20%, the allocation, your targeted allocation, is still likely the allocation that makes the most sense for you. All of these are things that a financial advisor, that a professional can begin leaning into and helping you with when you do reach that critical mass moment.
Yeah, so don't be scared to hire a co-pilot.
That's right.
I mean, that's one of the things we talk about all the time is that especially as you're getting close to 7 figures of investable assets, guys, you need to figure out, is this enterprise, you're now the CEO of a 7-figure enterprise, are you making mistakes because of blind spots and just you don't know what you don't know, to make sure you're maximizing the opportunity here? It does make sense, and that's why we talk about the abundance cycle, is that we can love on you, give you all the free advice to help you build the core components. But at some point, and that's why I love it, is that you talked about, you started this off, and I love when I can bring things full circle.
Seinfeld.
You creating wealth is surprisingly simple, but far from easy.
It ain't easy.
And so when I hear the word simple, I'm like, yeah, that's the ideal. The older I get, I want my financial life to be as simple as possible. But the reality is, the more success you start having, complexities go find you.
Yep.
All these strategies we're talking about, as well as all the things that go onto your tax return, you're going to start going, how did I end up in this complex financial situation? And truthfully, you should be congratulated for getting yourself in that situation, but it might make sense for to find a CFO to help the CEO of this 7-figure enterprise do it the most appropriate and best way possible.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you 2 resources that I think will be super helpful. If you are thinking about hiring a co-pilot, we have a resource on the Money Guy website. Go to moneyguy.com/resources. And like, is it 8 or 9? It's like 8 or 9, 10 questions.
Yeah.
Questions to ask a financial advisor, either one you're working with or one you're thinking about working with. It's free. Go out there, check it out, use it, and find someone who can answer those questions well. And if you're looking for a great place to look, check out our firm. You can go to moneyguy.com. We have a work with us. We have a little video there. Tells you who we are, how we work with clients, what we do. It is part of the abundance cycle, and we'd love for you to check that out.